junkyard. What up, RC peeps? It's me. Yeah, you noticed? Yeah, I did cut my beard down a little bit, but I'm still wearing a crap sweater. Well, I mean, you guys know I'm out here talking in my garage about RC products. It probably doesn't really matter what I look like, but anyways, this episode's going to be a little bit different because you're used to me working on crawler products. However, this time it's going to be a lowrider custom project. And what we're going to do is take Redcat's 64 Impala and we are going to put a different body on it. Just how different? Well, check this out. As you can see, we have the good old trusty Impala here. And we want to take this RC four-wheel drive Blazer body and put it on this. Now there are a few issues with that, and you're going to see those here pretty quickly. Now the wheel wells, they line up nicely. However, the back end of this chassis, this Redcat chassis is too long. So we're going to take this off, set this off to the side, and we are going to take this body and we're going to set it on like so. As you can see, the wheels actually line up nicely with the openings, and this is a nice body. I mean, you could do all kind of detailed scale stuff in here when you're done too. This hood opens, which I'm having a hard time getting with one hand. You're just gonna have to trust me on that. So you could put an engine bay in there, you could do all kind of stuff. This opens up, the tailgate drops down. Now, you see how long that is? It's a good inch or two. Too long. I'm actually gonna measure it out and we're gonna put a tape line down. But if we look under here too, it's gonna be really hard to see. There's not a, see if I can get some better lighting. The shock towers actually hit on the inside too. So let me bring a light over here. While I'm trying to, I need an assistant, people. So I don't know if you could see underneath there, but the shock tower is actually hitting in the back of this bed here. So it looks like we're gonna need to cut out for the shock tower somewhere up around these wheel wells. But what I'm gonna do is take a Sharpie underneath here and I'm gonna mark both areas. I'm gonna line everything up nicely and mark those areas so that this body drops down. Before I cut this back off, I wanna sit this body flush down. These sides are tucked way in, but I think you can pull them out and get them to just kind of slide right over the side here. So the first step for me is going to be to cut these shock towers out. In all reality, I actually could just unscrew the entire bedded interior and set this thing down on there and then make my cuts later. But that's, you know, who wants to take all this stuff apart? I don't. I surely don't. And I'm sure the interior is going to hit on something in here too. So we're going to take this off and give you an idea of what you're looking at here. Hopefully not drop anything. I'm also going to, at some point, do a custom paint job on that body. I'm going to try and do a lowrider paint job. These posts here are for the old interior. So we can remove these and get rid of these. That's no problem. These shock towers here can't be moved. So we're going to have to cut into the body, and then I'm going to guess maybe around the motor, maybe around these servos. I probably will leave these in here because they'll protect the servo arm. Maybe somewhere around here it's going to hit too. But we're going to tackle the shock towers first. So I'm going to make my marks underneath the body, and I'm going to use a Dremel and cut those out, and then we're going to come back and see where we're at that point in time. We haven't quite gotten to that next step yet, but I wanted to let you know underneath the wheel well is where you will really be able to take a Sharpie to see how you have all this room. Don't go in through the back like I was initially looking at. Go in through the side here, and you should be able to mark all around it. Start out small, go a little less than you think you need to go, and then cut out a little bit more as we go here. And once I come back, the body should actually be sitting down there, or I'm going to get to the next point that needs to be cut, and I'm going to let you know what that is. Welcome to the world's worst lighting, episode 99. As you can see, I have the body sitting on here, and the reason the front is so much lower is because there's nothing for it to catch on to yet, which means once I cut this, I could cut whatever I want off in the back. And I'm gonna open up the hood here, hopefully this time, and show you what I mean. So see how everything is pretty much down to the wheel wells? I could put something in there to push the body up, and you can definitely do that, or you can cut the back out to be as low as the front and have body drop, so that when you set this thing on the ground, it actually sits on the ground. I'm not sure which I'm gonna do there, but I definitely had to cut a lot out of the interior and the back, and I'll show you that in a second here too. I don't know if you'll be able to see it if I just do this, but as you can see, I pretty much had to cut that whole center out. All the way to the wheel wells had to be cut out. You just have to be really careful when you're cutting inside here that you don't go all the way through and hit the other side of the body. This is kind of like a real truck where you have the bed in here and there's a separation between the inside bed and the body. And I took the interior all the way out of this. I'm not sure what I'm going to do for interior, but I may end up doing something. I may end up tinting the windows all the way out so you don't see inside, which would be the easy lazy man's way to do it, which is pretty fine by me. I actually do like this baby blue color, and I have some gold Daytons to throw on it. I hate these mirrors. They're way, way too big. But I need to cut the back off, regardless of what I am going to do with the body or not going to do with the body. As you can see, separating out to get it to go around creates this gap that you really don't want. So I don't know how far back. I'm going to start cutting right here. And keep in mind, this is custom work here. The way I do it is I look at everything. I cut piece by piece, little by little. And as I'm going, I tend to realize I could have did it a different way. So if you watch this video, I'll kind of help you with that. I'm going to take the body off now. And also, use the top of the redcat box if you have it with the foam. I turn this body upside down and set it on there. I'm going to show you what I mean, and I'm going to show you where I cut out at. And then when I cut this line, the next step I'm going to take is I'm going to put a little piece of tape here on this chassis. And I'm going to run a piece of painter's tape all the way across on the inside here. You're going to have to take these weights out of here on the bottom because they're going to line up there. And I'm going to cut all the way to where the tailgate is underneath here. And we're going to see how that does. And then if I need to cut more, I will, because like I said, this is a custom job. This is the 64 chassis. This would not fit on the Monty at all. So if I hopped at this stage, it's going to just smack the body off the ground. So I'm probably not going to drop it that low, or I'm going to make it an extreme low rider. But let me take the body off and show you what I'm talking about. All right, I'm trying to get some light shown in here. This looks like it's part fiberglass too. So sometimes when it cut, it kind of cracks a little bit. I probably didn't have the sharpest blade on there either. These could stand to be cut out more, definitely. Could probably even cut back a little further, but that gives you an idea of what I had to cut out. I cut more of the center here out than I probably needed to because the motor needed to set there, but at this point, what's it really matter? I kept those body holes there just in case I'm going to need them, because I'm really not 100% sure how I'm going to mount this up. Now, I might even be able to take the old redcat interior and place it on that chassis and kind of arrange it to fit in here, and then make the back more like a bed. You could put styrene in there and shape it however you want, or you could just black it out back here. Not really sure what I'm going to do with that yet, but at some point I'm going to take the top off and rework this bed. This gives you an idea what you have to cut out. When you take this center interior out here, it really opens it up. So you would have to cut, if you kept that interior, you'd probably have to cut out the middle console at least and make it kind of like buckets. I don't know if I want to go that far. We'll see. I am going to cut that chassis though, and then get this to sit down on there. So I'm going to make my line like I told you I am. I'm going to put some painter's tape on it. I'll start the video at that point to show you how I laid the tape out too, and you can kind of get an idea. And then I'm going to cut it. All right, I got this in the light so you can see. I took off the faux gas tank that has the weights in it. As you can see, I'm going to lose those 2 screw holes there, and that's fine with me. If you do this, you're going to have to relocate some things. The battery pack's not going to go there, but you have plenty of room up here. You can tuck a pack anywhere in here and make it work, and use smaller packs too. We could relocate this if we needed to. We could relocate the transmitter. None of that would be a problem. So, and you still do have room in here if you wanted to use a smaller pack, but that's the straight line we're going to run. That's the minimum amount I'm going to cut and test fit. I'm going to guess I'm probably going to need to cut more than that off. I don't think I'm going to have to cut any of this. And you probably saw and are thinking about all those rough edges in that body that I still have to deal with. I'll sand those down, and you won't even see them. And you're going to have to deal with that too. Just cut slow and straight. And that's what I'm going to do with this. And once that's cut, we will test fit the body again and see where we're at. Okay, before I throw the body on here, I want to give you this as a reference point for where I cut. I also, I used a cutting wheel, and I have a vise to put this in, which made life a whole lot easier. If you're using a Dremel or something smaller, really take your time. But with a cutting wheel, a big cutting wheel, man, you could just go really easy and go right through this. Also, check all your wiring. You don't want to cut through any of that. And again, you're going to void your stuff out. So this is the point where I'm at. And like I said, I'm probably going to need to cut more off. I may even need to cut this at an angle to get the back to fit on there. Not really sure, but we're going to put that body on right now, and we're going to find out. As you can see, it tucks up underneath there pretty decently. I still have to cut more out, but another reason the front's so low, I just figured out the Reef's garbage servo that Redcat gives you is dust. I don't know, it's stripped on the inside. I've never used this Impala. It's been new sitting in a box. So good job, Redcat and Reefs, with your servos. That's nice. So I'll be sending in for a warranty on that thing. Yeah, also, so I'm going to flip this over and show you. You see the bumper mounts are hiding behind there. I'm going to cut this all the way to that ridge where it comes up. And I'm also going to cut, I don't know if you can see it. Let's show you. See the raised area? I'm going to put my pinky on it right there. I'm going to cut at the top to that, and then on the sides into that. So I'm going to take these little pieces of exhaust off so they don't get damaged, and I'm going to cut that out, and then this is going to sit nice. I don't know if you can see through the window, but I still left those 2 holes in there. I could drill down through that and make some body mounts on the inside. I'm going to have to figure out something for the front. As you can see, let me open this hood. There's a couple options in here that I can do. Definitely can do some body mounts off the front that pull that up. I may have to cut a sliver off the chassis on the sides so that this body slips off and on a little bit easier, because it's tucked on there pretty tight. But let me cut the back of that off and we'll see where we're at again. I will show you once I tape it up as well, so you can see exactly where I'm cutting and what I'm talking about. All right, as you can see, I have it loosely taped up here. This is just a guideline. I'm actually gonna, since it moves, I'm gonna run a piece of tape down that and cut along that line, but I just wanted to give you a general idea. I'm gonna cut on this side of the tape, cut this all the way down, and then all the way over here and cut down like this. So this will all be off of there. And then I think this body will sit much nicer. I'm gonna keep these 2 post holes here. I probably don't even need to. I could cut all the way across, but we're starting to get into where the electronics are. I'm just going to cut off the least amount that I need to. As you can also see, I took the exhaust out of there. I just thought it was easier to take them both out as one piece and not have to worry about damaging them. All right, after I cut it, we'll take another look. Well, it's not perfect, but it's getting there. You can see a little bit of trimming in the wheel well there needs to be done. But I got you close, guys, gals, and whoever else. Got you close. And to get the front end to come up a little bit, I threw some shims in here. That is obviously not a permanent fix, but I can definitely take something and screw it to the inside, probably inside the wheel wells, keep it about that high, and the body will just sit on it. And everything, honestly, on the body is so tight. It's so tight around this thing that it's not going anywhere. And I think it looks cool. I tried it with some Daytons, and they are way too small. It's going to look really good with the bumper on. I'm seriously contemplating pulling all this chrome off and doing these wheels in gold too with an airbrush. I'm not real sure yet, but I got it to this point, and I kind of just like it. It's cool. The body is not perfectly sitting on there yet, but I mean, the wheels line up really nicely. It looks good. And yeah, I'll do the inside. But hopefully this helped you guys. And hopefully you're not afraid to cut into this thing, because yeah, the end result is pretty cool. And like I said, it's not perfectly done yet, not 100%. I'll have to post up a video once I get the bumpers and everything done. But as far as being to the roughed out part of custom, there you are. And if I do paint this, I'm going to take a little bit of filler and fill in these holes and sand it down, and that'll be nice and smooth. I think I'm going to leave the two-tone. So if I do it, I'm going to take all the hardware off, obviously, and I'm going to tape that white off and then do the lowrider paint job on everything else. Probably leave the top white too. Or I may just leave it this blue and white because it looks kind of cool as it sits. I gotta be honest, those two holes kind of annoy me a little bit though. So yeah, I'll get it all set, sitting pretty, and get the bumper, the front bumper on, the rear bumper on, get all that stuff done. And that's it. Hey, give me a like, give me a subscribe, give me a comment if you thought this was helpful to you.